Hey folks, it's horror movie time again. Today, we're checking out the latest 2025 horror film, The Ghost Game. The story unfolds in an abandoned building in Korea. A group of horror vloggers, aiming for 1 million followers, decide to play the viral ghost possession game here. This room, resembling an altar, is where they're set to film their content. Coincidentally, the room has everything they need. Now, they just need to mix cow blood with human blood and use the mixture to draw a pentagram on the floor. This way, they can summon a ghost to possess someone and answer the questions they want to know. Of course, all of this is fake, but everyone has to act like they've really seen a ghost. While looking at the protective charm in hand, Jae-yeon suggests, "How about we try the real thing this time?" Everyone looks confused upon hearing this. What does that mean? Jae-yeon explains, "Let's see if summoning a ghost for possession is real. If it's real, this video is guaranteed to go viral. If it's fake, we can just follow the script, no loss. But then again, whose body will the ghost possess?" At this moment, everyone's eyes start darting away. It seems no one is willing to take the risk. Only Jae-yeon at this time takes a dagger and cuts her palm, mixing her blood with the cow blood. Seeing this, everyone writes down the questions they want answered on paper. Then Jae-yeon puts the protective charm on her little sister Sewoo's ankle. Next, everyone needs to scoop a bowl of the black water in front of them, light the candles, and place the paper with the question into the bowl. The possessed person needs to cover their face and go to the center of the pool to end the possession before removing the bag from the possessed person's head. Say, "Please leave." Finally, the questioners must leave the pentagram in the order of receiving answers.
문을 열었습니다. 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 들어오세요.
Under everyone's tense and expectant gazes, nothing happens.
야, 그냥 연출로 가야겠다.
However, at that moment, Jae-yeon's body starts reacting, and suddenly, a heavy and intense strange noise echoes in the room. Under everyone's puzzled stares, Jae-yeon's body makes bone-grinding sounds, and her eyes have turned completely black. It seems they've successfully summoned a ghost for possession. Gi-ho quickly records this footage. What everyone doesn't know is, summoning a ghost is easy, but sending it away is hard. The group will pay a heavy price for their actions. At this point, Jae-yeon's hand twists eerily. The person she points to will see the answer to their question appear on the paper. Then the possessed Jae-yeon collapses onto the pool with a thud. She utters some words that the group can't understand. In foreign cultures, 666 is considered an unlucky number. It represents evil and misfortune. While everyone looks bewildered, Jae-yeon suddenly charges at Sewoo like a madwoman. Fortunately, during possession, the possessed can't leave the black water pool. But in the sealed room, a gust of eerie wind blows through. In the darkness, Gi-ho sees through his phone recording Jae-yeon pacing back and forth in the black water pool. Amid the flickering lights, Sewoo sees a ghostly little girl. At that moment, a voice reminds everyone. Suddenly, everyone rushes toward Jae-yeon. Until they remove the bag from her head, she finally calms down. Unexpectedly, even at this point, Gi-ho is still recording everything with his phone, and he captures the devil's mark appearing on Jae-yeon's body, planning to upload it to TikTok over VPN. But that's not the priority right now. The important thing is, as the group tries to call the police, their phones have no signal at all in this sealed space. Even more terrifying, as they try to leave the room, The door won't open, no matter what. At this point, the tall and burly Dongjun wants to force the door open. However, after his series of professional maneuvers, the baseball bat not only broke, but even the door handle was smashed off. While everyone's attention was drawn to the door, Yoon, not far away, encountered something eerie. A non-human voice entered her ears. As for everything that happened to Yeon, the other 4 people couldn't see it at all. That means what was just above Yeon's head wasn't human at all. Under the gaze of her companions, Yeon's body became extremely strange. But her companions had no time to pay attention to this, because the phone suddenly got a signal at this moment. Just as they were about to call the police, the signal cut off again. Everyone was baffled by Yeon's bizarre behavior. Just as Dongjun stepped forward to check, an accident happened. Until she banged her head against the door painfully. Only then did she stop. Her companions on the side saw Yeon acting so abnormally. They were instantly stunned. For a moment, they didn't know what to do. However, at this time, Yeon just quietly walked to a nearby spot, picked up the remaining half of the baseball bat from the ground, then decisively set her gaze on the unconscious Jaeyoung, muttering something incessantly. Then she charged at Jaeyoung like a madwoman, as if the two had a deep-seated grudge. Fortunately, her companion stopped her, thus preventing a tragedy. What no one expected was, Gi-ho came up behind Yeon at this moment, and with a stab ended her life. But what everyone didn't notice was, at this time, Gi-ho's eyes had turned completely black. In just an instant, they returned to normal. At the same time, Seo-woo noticed a little ghost in the corner that vanished in a flash. It seemed like it possessed Gi-ho and killed Yeon. But the others didn't know this. Moreover, back at school, the relationship between the two wasn't good. The reason was that Gi-ho accidentally discovered that Yeon had an abnormal issue with her sexual orientation, and casually took evidence of her weakness, using it to threaten her into sleeping with him. All of this was clearly overheard by Dongjun, and the question Yeon asked today was whether she could escape Gi-ho. Now Gi-ho couldn't clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. But what happened next quickly cleared Gi-ho of suspicion.
미연이가 날 잡고 있다고!
When the three turned on their flashlights, they started searching the room for Giho's figure, completely unaware that a ghostly shadow slipped past them quietly from behind. At this moment, a few drops of liquid fell on Mi-yeon's face. The three slowly looked up, only to find Giho stuck to the ceiling, ready to launch a sneak attack on them at any moment. When the scene came back, Giho had already been tied up securely by his companions. After all, he was acting crazy now. If they didn't do this, the remaining three could very well die at his hands. At this moment, Seo suddenly thought of something. With so many strange things happening, could it be that they didn't send the ghost away? The three who realized this immediately went to the phone. Through the recording on the phone, they discovered that there wasn't just one ghost here. Importantly, at that time, everyone saw Jae-yeon's abnormality and rushed to help, but forgot about sending the ghost away. Therefore, all of them violated the rules. So the consequence now is, the ghosts will slaughter everyone in the order of the answers given. And Seo believed they needed to go through the process again to send the ghost away. Of course, this was just Seo's guess. But currently, there seemed to be no better way.
열었습니다. 열었습니다. 열었습니다.
열었습니다. 들어오세요.
After a brief silence, Jaeyeon's body reacted again. As Jaeyeon's wrist kept rotating, the note in front of everyone showed an answer once more. The three thought that next they just needed to send the ghost away. But at this moment, an accident happened.
자영아, 나 진짜 나갈까?
Hearing this, Seo instantly wavered. After all, right now in front of her, I was her deeply bonded sister.
나가주세요. 나가주세요. 나가주세요.
After completing all the procedures, the three worked together to push Yeon and Giho out of the pentagram. Then they also left the barrier in order. After doing all this, at this time, the phone indeed got a signal. However, judging from the increase of 500,000 fans above, the matter is far from over. But the two didn't notice this at all. At this moment, their minds were full of calling for help.
도와주세요. 여기 갇혀있어요.
네, 119입니다. 어디시죠?
여기 시구동 폐건물이요. 235번지 지하에요.
네, 출동하겠습니다.
네. 빨리 와주세요. 네.
네, 동준씨.
After hanging up, Dongjun was stunned. He didn't remember if he mentioned his name, but fortunately, everything seemed to have ended. The three also decided to rest well. But what they didn't know was, the matter was just beginning here. Unknown how much time passed? When Dongjun turned on the light again, what came into view was not rescue personnel, but Giho with blood flowing all over the ground. Until checking the video on the phone did they discover Jae-yeon took advantage when everyone was asleep, untied the restraints on Giho's hands. Then the man lost his soul, faced the camera and without hesitation cut his own neck. This means they still didn't send the ghost away. Now Mi-yeon's emotions completely collapsed. She desperately and helplessly pounded on the door. But soon, Mi-yeon's hand movement stopped.
뭐? 야.
As expected, the ghost that initially possessed Yeon now ran to Mi-yeon. Under the companion's gaze, the possessed Mi-yeon suddenly plunged herself into the black water. The ghost wanted to kill Mi-yeon this way. Fortunately, with Dongjun and So-woo's help, this allowed her to barely escape with her life. Seeing this, you guys might wonder, didn't the three already send the ghost away? Then why did this happen? First, the first possession on Jae-young was this little girl. Everyone didn't send her away. Secondly, from the phone video, learned, ghosts are actually more than one. When they invited ghosts the second time, might have invited other ghosts. Importantly, Yeon's arm didn't completely leave the pentagram. Even if the second ghost was sent away, isn't the first ghost still staying in this room? Back to the topic. After Mi-yeon regained her senses, Dongjun originally wanted to call rescue again. But at this time, he discovered a terrifying thing. After taking out his note from Gi-ho's body, now Dongjun completely confirmed, originally the questions written by several people, the ghost will make it reality. Gi-ho's question was whether he can get 1 million fans. Now 1 million fans are there. Gi-ho also lost his life because of this. And Dongjun's question is whether So-woo will accept my confession? Just when the three were preparing to rest, Dongjun bravely said those 3 words. Although So-woo was very shocked, but Dongjun's handsome face ultimately made So-woo fall. So-woo without hesitation agreed to him. That means Dongjun is also on the death list. At this time, unhappy Mi-yeon walked over, gave her note to the two. However, the answer obtained was So-woo. Now Mi-yeon's question also became reality. But the outcome is not what she wanted. But this doesn't affect Mi-yeon having to pay with her life for this. Unable to accept all this, Mi-yeon took out a dagger, prepared to end the two's lives before she dies. Since she can't get it, she'll destroy it. However, just when Mi-yeon was about to kill her best friend, Dongjun firmly locked her from behind. The two worked together to tie up Mi-yeon. Then Dongjun slammed Mi-yeon against the wall again and again. This also accidentally made them discover 4 strange rooms. Saw that each room was full of talisman papers, and deepest inside there was a big death character. More terrifyingly, Dongjun discovered, behind these talismans, there were other words. A simple explanation is, after the 5 questions become reality, then take away 5 lives. You can let the ghost obtain a body and thus achieve resurrection. Just as Dongjun was pondering the meaning of these words, a scream from So-woo came from outside. When Dongjun came out, he discovered Mi-yeon, who had just been tied up, had unexpectedly died in this room. It's Jae-young. It turns out that all of this was entirely planned by Jae-young. This is also why at the beginning, Jae-young suggested playing for real. And the purpose of her doing this has to start from when Jae-young was little. She originally had a sister with mobility issues, but that day, when Jae-young saw her sister reaching for something, she closed the door and decided to play a prank.
언니 살려줘. 자영아 왜 그래?
But what Jae-young didn't know was, her small prank unexpectedly caused her sister with mobility issues to slip. and died tragically in the bathtub. When the parents came home from work in the evening, they pushed the door open and saw only the sister's cold body. The parents blamed each other for not having time to accompany the child, leading to the tragedy, pushing the blame onto each other. The final result was that the father took Jae-young and formed a new family with someone else. And Seo-woo is the child from the other side. Over so many years, Jae-young almost every day would have nightmares about her sister. These years, she continuously searched for information. Finally, on a website, she discovered a post that can resurrect the dead. And the most important for the resurrection ritual is the deceased's relic. Jae-young decided to resurrect her sister into Seo-woo's body. After learning everything, Dongjin wanted to use his last breath to remove the amulet from Seo-woo's ankle. But ultimately, the injured him could only be strangled to suffocation by Jae-young with an iron chain. At this time, the unaware Seo-woo woke up, looking at the sister in front of her. She just wanted to ask what happened. Jae-young quickly picked up the relic that Dongjin had torn off. In the instant of putting the relic on Seo-woo, Seo-woo's body instantly couldn't move. Then Jae-young took out a set of brand new clothes and placed the 4 corpses at each corner of the pentagram. At this time, Jae-young discovered Seo-woo's note. The question on it was, will sister always be happy?
그럼 내가 행복할 수 있게 가만히 있어줘.
After saying that, Jae-young began the resurrection ritual. When Jae-young looked again, she knew the resurrection ritual was successful. But what she didn't expect was, her sister's intelligence remained forever at childhood level. And she never thought, if her sister really forgave her childhood prank, then why would Jae-young still frequently have nightmares? Just as Jae-young was preparing to take her sister away, at this time, an accident happened.
자영아, 우리를 왜 죽인 거야?
Then the sister tightly grabbed Jae-young's neck, just like in the nightmares she often had, until Jae-young fainted. The story basically ends here. Jae-young ultimately paid the price of her life for her selfishness and greed. The main reason in the film that led Jae-young to cause this disaster, I think, is the lack of parental companionship and proper family education. Besides Jae-young and Seo-woo, the other 4 all came with a desire for traffic, and more or less tainted with the 7 deadly sins. They are clearly just students. Giho has an excessive desire for a million fans. Yeon has feelings that violate social ethics. Mi-yeon tries to destroy others' happiness. Dongjun has an indifference when it's not his concern. Alright, today's story ends here. Movies are not the same as reality, but reality is often more cruel than movies. Thank you for watching. See you next time.